Welcome to the AmRisk Podcast. Please join us as we go beyond underwriting to learn more about the human side of insurance. Welcome back to the AmRisk Podcast. This is episode 16 on the AmRisk internship program. This is Michael Waters. I'm here with Connor Fleury, and we're going to be interviewing Lindsay Mathern and Leah Bellin. So we kind of already know a little bit more about Lindsay because we've had her on the podcast before. So Leah, how did you start at AmRisk, and how did you get to the position you're at now?
I started at AmRisk as a UA on the national accounts team under Scott Hansen almost 12 years ago. And I had that role for close to 3 years, and I was already helping and assisting Scott with some carrier relationship things, entertaining and things of that sort. I enjoyed it and I liked it. And when the opportunity came for a broader scale in that side of AmRisk business, I jumped on it and I transitioned into the corporate team in 2015 and have kind of not looked back. And just continued to try to grow my knowledge in that arena in the carrier side. And then, of course, when our beloved Kathy retired, I obviously decided, hey, I would love to be able to help and to grow in that capacity as well. And Laura said, let's do it.
Wow. Yeah, we actually had Scott Hansen on the podcast. I think he was for our 5th episode.
Something like that.
Yeah. I thought that was a good time being his UA.
It was.
Yeah.
It was fun. And I worked for Scott and his mother-in-law, who used to work for the company, Marlene Olszewski, who's gone now as well. She's retired. But yes, it was very fun working for the two of them.
I bet you learned a lot in those 3 years.
I did.
From Scott.
A lot. A lot of the things you don't do, I would do and then learn that way, which I still like to learn that way. So I highly recommend making mistakes. I learn a lot faster.
Yep. That's the best way to learn.
That's the only way to learn
is.
for me.
Yeah.
Make a mistake and you'll never do it again.
Yeah. Well, did you ever start as an intern, or did you ever do any intern stuff?
I did not here. I'm not from here. So when I first moved to Houston, I had an internship in a construction company named A1 Striping and Paving. They did the paving in like the parking lots and different driveways and things of that sort in a commercial capacity. And I was the intern for the operations manager. So I would help get the crews trucks loaded and had to learn all the materials and then had to drive around town and learn my way around the city. And so I did not pursue a career in construction. I think that summer was probably enough for me to decide. That's something I wanted to pursue.
I think it's safe to assume you had pretty early mornings.
Yes, yes. And had some decent Spanish at the time. I've lost quite a bit of it, but yes.
¿Por qué?
Yes.
Well, why don't we dive into it? Can you tell us a little bit about the AmRisk internship program?
It started with Dan Peed in his years as the CEO at AmRisk. He had quite a few boys he was trying to keep busy in the summer and wanted a place for them to have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the industry, maybe with hopes that they would pursue a career in insurance, which none of them did, to my knowledge to date. But that's kind of where it started, and it's manifested obviously into much more. And leading up until this year, the 2024 internship, we had Truist, who managed the program. So they oversaw the summer schedule for the interns, anything from meeting different guests around the insurance world and within the banking world, as well as helping to program some different learning opportunities for them. So this will be the first year, which we're really excited about getting to take over the program from Truist.
Yeah. So what kind of changes are you guys making? Are we like expanding it, cutting it back a little bit? Are we like adding things onto it, like doing stuff differently?
We are going to definitely do things differently. You know, as part of the separation, this is kind of the tip of the iceberg of some really exciting things we have coming down the pipe, where we're going to have that autonomy within our own line of business to run this program as we see fit. So when we learned that Truist wasn't going to have their hand in any of the internship programs for any of the lines of business this summer, we went to work. Harry Edwards jumped in, feet first, or head first probably more so, and crafted the council, which Lindsay and I are both on in support of Carrie and the agenda. And so what we're looking at this summer is going to be much more on hand. So we're going to have an opportunity for all the interns to come together. This summer, it's really fun because they're all here in Houston. When they're home from school, they'll all be in this vicinity. So we're going to have a kickoff here in the office. So they're all going to get to meet each other. We're going to have some other mingling opportunities in the summer. They're going to have more opportunities to meet individuals face to face versus lots of virtual, tell me how you got where you are, and more hands off that we've done in the past. We're going to have this really inclusive, creative environment for them to get to learn more about the nuances of Amerisk and other parts of the lines of business that we partner with under the TIH umbrella.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm on my third intern this year, training wise. So I'm excited to see how the programs kind of expand, and then also the in-office stuff would be nice, especially at this new office. It's gonna be awesome. How are interns selected for the program?
So up until now, it wasn't as big of a criteria that we had. It was more so we wanted you to be pursuing a college career, right? Ideally, once you graduated from high school, ideally, and then we were just kind of looking at where we could fit you within the company and teams that were willing to host an intern. And so the transition that we're making coming into the future is we're looking more at a criteria of we'd like for you to have probably a year of college, maybe 30 hours. Some of those kids, they're getting dual credits. They might come into their their freshman year, freshman or sophomore year. We're ideally going to be targeting closer to the sophomore year students because they've got at least a little bit under their belt and they've got a good rhythm in their schedule. They know what to expect. And then we're looking for business degrees, maybe some even accounting and finance or marketing, something along those lines that would fit into a little bit in our world. Of course, we love risk management and things of that sort, but that's kind of, we're going to be looking a little more selectively and strategically so that we can try to help them build on something they're already building. Plus, we're going to be looking at bringing interns in through some of our conference partnerships like WSIA and other, colleagues like that we have where we haven't been able to host in the past because we really didn't have the robust programming to do so, but we'll be able to do that as well. And more college recruitment for interns as well.
Awesome. How and when does one apply for an internship here at Amerisk?
So we ideally like to have all the resumes in and submitted by the end of the year. They come directly to me, and you can email them to me, or you could email them to Carrie Edwards going forward. Either one of us can receive them. And then as a council, I think we'll be looking at those resumes going forward and looking at our programming that we did this year, how we can build it, and then those people that we could be most impactful with. So ideally, we like them to be in by December because then we need to find host teams, right? So that would be the next strategy is who's going to host the interns. We had a lower count of teams this year. We've got a little bit of intern fatigue, I think. So we gave some graces to teams that were shorthanded and have a lot on their plate. And so we're hoping and looking forward to 2025 to have a really good subscription to the program.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially now that you're kind of learning, I guess now as we're stepping away from Truist, you can kind of feel out the program with the less people.
They get to be our guinea pigs this year. So we're
That's awesome. I wish I did an internship, but I just came in straight in. So, Lindsay, why should one do an internship with Amerisk?
I think Amerisk has a great approach where it's a more well-rounded, holistic look at an internship with professional development, and we're trying to optimize our impact so that someone can decide if this is actually a path they want to take, have more exposure, and not just show up and do like the side task that would, offload full-time employees, daily workload.
Okay. So what I'm getting at is an internship here at Amerisk is going to help you obviously grow professionally, get general insurance knowledge, figure out if this is what you want to pursue a career in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there any tips and tricks to someone that, out of anybody here, that would want to give out to an intern? I mean, I know mine's always ask questions and make mistakes.
yeah.
Absolutely. Always ask the question because I'm sure if you're thinking it, someone else is thinking that question as well. This is an opportunity to learn, so there's no wrong questions. And come in with a great attitude, the attitude of like wanting to learn, be open, and be curious. Like that, I feel like that's probably the best advice I could give. I am a little biased. I think Amherst is the best in biz, and we have some amazing people here. We really care about, everyone learning as much as they can. And I don't think that it's necessarily so much that you have to come work at Amherst after you've completed the Amherst program. We actually have a former intern that's now working at CRC that's going to be a guest speaker at our kickoff party. We're really looking to help grow and foster the next generation of insurance professionals.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that kickoff party
Me too. It's gonna be a blast.
after busy season.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming up for air.
Yeah. I think it's like really important for an intern to work hard because you don't really, at the end of the day, you don't really know who's watching. And it also sets you up for like future success in the industry, even if you aren't looking necessarily for a job at AmRisk or within underwriting. It's going to set you up growth wise, and it can also, you're not guaranteed a job as an intern. I mean, like after the internship, you're not guaranteed a position, but I'm sure if you do well enough and you show that you're a hard worker,
Here to grow, here to learn.
yeah, you're here to grow, here to learn. I'm sure a position could possibly open up for you.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
like y'all said, even if if the intern decides they don't want to be in insurance, I mean, I didn't know anything about insurance until I came in here, and
I had no idea about insurance before I started working at AmRisk.
now
Or
it's
you're
all I
like,
think
yeah,
about.
like car, right?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
insurance or-
yeah. I came in, I was like, because I knew Connor before because he's my cousin, and I was like insurance. That's like you call somebody, you're like cold calling all day. That's what I thought this was. Even after I did my interview and I asked like an hour of questions. I was like coming in the first day. I was like, okay, who am I gonna?
Who do I have to
60
cold
calls
call
a
today?
day, and then no, they call us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think part of that too in the internship that I love and that you can make it just like your career at AmRisk, you can make it as fruitful and as beneficial as you want it to be. You know, that doesn't mean that you don't need to come in and do your job, but there's, keeping your eyes open, keeping your ears open, being in the office, having organic conversations with people as you're passing in the hall and getting your water, or your coffee, or your bevy. If you like what I like to call bougie water, there's a lot of opportunities for those conversations. And I think that with the internships, we are hopeful that we're going to have even more of that. And you can grow in your learning of a skill. You can grow, and that there are going to be opportunities they'll have this summer too through LinkedIn Learning, which AmRisk employees have as well. But I think there'll be a lot of other opportunities for them to use their time wisely and to grow. And again, like you said, to make it as much as you want it to be.
Yeah, especially the people we have working for this company. Like, it's a great opportunity to learn under. Like, I've met some of the most amazing people of my life, and you can tell like the culture here at AmRisk. People are here to they're here to foster development. It's not just a job. They're here to like grow you as a person, like professionally, emotionally, and it's a really good company to work for.
The Amherst family.
Yeah.
Amherst family.
How many interns are we expecting this summer?
We're looking at probably 6 total we'll have at the end.
And are they all on the productive teams, or are they going to like IT, accounting, or claims?
We do have an L&D intern this year as well. So yes, we're excited to bring L&D on to that as well. We've had accounting interns in the past. We don't this year, but we do open up the opportunity for them to host, for claims to host, or for accounting or IT for them if they have the availability and the training opportunity. With the separation this year, understandably, there's a lot of transitions going on with staff and with roles. So some of the teams that might have otherwise, outside of the production side that would have hosted and really genuinely wanted to, they obviously needed their reprieve this year just so they can get their team situated for to be geared and ready to support AmRisk in the separation. So,
That's understandable.
yep.
At the end of the internship, what kind of experience do you want the intern to be walking away with and looking back at their summer?
I think what we're aiming for is a better understanding of what someone would be walking into if they chose a career in insurance, and developing some softer skills. I mean, the hard skills, any company you walk into, you're going to have to learn, their processes, their way of doing it, their software, et cetera. But there's so much more to insurance than, your relationships, your networking, negotiation, and like time management, being organized, how you present yourself. So I think our goal is to take these young professionals, if you will, that are still in school and in a learning phase and incorporate that as well.
Well, now open the table to any advice to someone who might one day want to be an intern here. I mean, I know we probably already touched that, but
I think that the best, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, Michael, I think you need to come in curious and just have an open mind to the opportunities that there are within insurance. It's not a one size fits all. There's different ways you can go about it. There's different support within the company, and there's a lot of conversations that we have with brokers and agents and different people. So like with the person that you were talking about, Lindsay, that's coming, that interned, she was able to kind of have those doors opened as a result of interning at AmRisc. So don't just come in with the thought process in mind that AmRisc is the end all be all. Yes, we are a mega MGA and we hope you want a career here. However, we want the ultimate goal is for their growth and for them to leave different than when they got here. So I think if they're coming in with that mindset, we're going to get them there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. Shifting gears a little bit more towards the kickoff meeting on June 11th. What are the interns going to hear about, and what is excess and surplus insurance all about?
We have, the L&D team has done a phenomenal job with creating content that we have that can kind of foster and reinforce what they're going to learn a little bit about. So if they come into this and we're telling them about excess and surplus insurance and their minds are swimming and they're thinking, I'm not going to remember everyone's names. I'm not going to remember where I parked my car because I'm pretty sure I'm in the wrong garage, or any of the other first day jitters they might have. By the time they start, and they come in that week, we will already have them in their system accessed. So we'll have all of those kinks worked out. So they should be ready to go that week we kick off. So they're going to get to hear, like you were talking about, Lindsay, we'll have guest speakers. We're going to have some different opportunities to interact with our executive management. And we're also going to overlap it with the AmRisc Online Mixer. Please reach out to Hannati Wade if you have not done so already and get more information on that. But we're going to be looking at what they can expect from the internship program, the different speakers that we're going to have this summer, the different learning opportunities they're going to have, whether it be through AmRisc University, through the TIH Learning Center, or through LinkedIn Learning and some other opportunities that we have partnerships with as well. So we're going to be offering kind of the whole entire enchilada and letting them, hopefully customize what they're looking for and help them get that set up for the summer.
Awesome. So, and looking at the sheet, looks like the interns are expected to complete a weekly overview of goals, what they learned, feedback from themselves or their trainer peer, and I guess just weekly conversations and a plan for the following week. So it's kind of like they're creating their own study guide of what they learned throughout the week and what they want to learn next week. Does that sound right to y'all?
Yeah, it sounds pretty spot on. I think in the past, when we weren't in total control of our internship program, it was, here you go, this is your team, see you when it's over. So we're definitely trying to structure it and have some defined goals, some defined learning lessons, if you will, and also allow them to give feedback so that we can improve the program as time goes on, because this is our first year and we're going to have lots of learning opportunities. And I think we want to do better each year so that they have better outcomes in the long term.
And I think having this practice where they're going to have to kind of do a weekly recap, it's not only going to benefit them to articulate it and put it in some type of formal written notice that they're going to have in that format, but it's also going to be really good for the council to hear that feedback live, right? We're not having to wait until the end of the program to find out, like we found out last year, that our interns were required to do all the new learning centers as if you were a new hire. So they spent all this time on the beginning when their teams are kind of sitting there waiting to get them up and running. They were required within a pretty small window of time to do that. So, but we didn't get that feedback until the end of the summer. So this will be much more live feedback, and then we can look at that data and we can craft and create something going into the next week that we wouldn't have that ability to do at the end of the summer.
Exactly. We can be flexible and adapt to the needs of our interns.
Awesome. So it sounds like the structure is really starting to come together this year.
Yes.
I'm very excited for this program.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, we've put a lot of heart into it, and I think it's going to be fun.
Is there a way for them to apply online, or do they have to email you guys?
Hopefully we will create a box, right? So right now we have, like, when you want to apply for a job, a full-time job at Amerisk, we have careers@amerisk.com. So anyone can send in a resume. It's also on our website. So we will be looking at getting something that the council can access where everyone can send in their resumes. And it's usually going to come from the mom of or the sibling of within the Amerisk family. But I think once we get in writing what that criteria is going to look like so that we can be impactful in the programming, I think that'll help people to give them that. And then we'll include a separate box so that they can send them directly to there. And then as a council, we'll look and work to pair. And I kind of like the idea of sharing some of those resumes in advance to pique the interest of the individual teams, maybe get a little bidding war on those guys, right? We've got some really, really talented interns we've had come through at Amerisk, and we've had some repeats in the past that we've got a couple repeats this year that were modeling before they left, on the ENS side.
Oh, wow.
And I'm really, really impressed with what we've seen from them so far, and I think that teams want to hear that, and they want to hear that feedback from what we had and what they accomplished in the summer. So I think maybe we can get some extra competition.
Yeah. Are you guys doing any college outreach, or y'all?
We haven't yet, but we will be. Yes, once we get, really and truly, it starts internally, right? So I think as we craft the program, Carrie has done a really good job of communicating with team managers and getting more feedback. We will continue to do that from a really humbled aspect of, okay, we know what you haven't liked in the past, but we would love to hear what you would like to see and see how we can marry that and what the program agenda is and with the council so that we can try to deliver the people, they want to see people from WSIA and they want to see people from the university, and going out and being able to have a booth at the colleges that are risk management and insurance-based careers that we can build off of it.
Thanks for your time today. We learned a lot about the internship program, and we look forward to seeing the outcomes.
Thank you.